All right, Baylor tonight against Oklahoma. Big 12, of course, is Murderer's Row. It's a sledgehammer. Seth Greenberg, ESPN, was with us a lot last year. He was gracious many times. He joins us again now on Sikkim 365 Radio. Thank you, Seth. Appreciate your time. Is Baylor, I don't think there's any question people expected them to be really, really good, but have they even surprised you so far?
Yeah, they surprised me because you're adding pieces, and you never know how as good as those kids are, as good as Sohan is, as good as Akinjo is, as good as Brown is. Look, they still have to adapt to playing at this level of college basketball. They got to adapt and develop a chemistry. Matt Meyer has a new role. Adam Flagler has a new role, but the identity and the culture remain the same. And I think that's the thing that has been so evident. The identity in how you play and how you're expected to play offensively and defensively. The culture in terms of not getting too high, not getting too low, but getting to the next play and remaining focused. And then I think Scott's done a great job of mixing and matching. When they have kind of struggled a little bit, he's made great adjustments with their team. And then you see some development. You see Sohan develop. You see Kendall Brown in his passing develop. You see Akinjo getting just so much more comfortable in, how they defend, how they, when to be aggressive, when to let the game come to them. So it's been as a coach, it's been a fun thing to watch.
Those three factors all coming in and buying into a culture and a chemistry are really hard to accomplish for a coaching staff when you've got a transfer who's been Akinjo's at a couple of different places, and then you've got two very highly touted guys who in today's world of basketball, college sometimes for these guys is just something they have to do to get to the next thing. What does it say about Scott Drew and the coaching staff that they've gotten those guys to jump into the culture and embrace it and enjoy it?
I think the first thing is that they really do a good job of selling, what Baylor's all about. And then, if you want to be part of this, this is who you are. This is how you act. This is, what you need to do. Now, Sohan and look, Scott's done a great job of developing players, redshirting guys. Sohan and Kendall are more ready to go. Let's face it. I mean, they're ready to go, but they bought into roles. They bought into playing hard. They bought into being unselfish. They bought into being good teammates. Kendall Brown's passing. We talk about his athleticism. The thing that blows me away is his passing. He is a terrific passer, not a good passer. He's a terrific passer. We know about his athleticism. We know about, his length. And then Sohan, he made a play the other day. I did a tape on him the other day where one play, Akinjo rejects the ball screen, he back cuts and gets a lob or kind of a hanging layup, and then the next Flagler drags two, throws it back to him, and he drives it, spins, keeps his chin on the rim, and finishes. I mean, been really impressive. And then the two bigs they are who they are. Flo and JTT just. They only do what they can do, which is rare in college basketball.
Seth, tonight, Baylor at home against Oklahoma, 11-2 Sooners. What have been your thoughts on Porter Moser's squad so far?
Did a great job with them. I mean, you think about the guys that they lost and have transferred out. And he kept, obviously Harkless. He kept Emoja Gibson, two veteran players. And Jalen Hill's kind of been the X factor because he's playing four and he becomes a problem. The guys they brought in have fit. Goldwire, the kid from Duke, is a tough kid who can defend and buys in. And then Tanner Groves is a little bit like Cameron Krautler, who played for him at Loyola. The defense in the Big 12 is the best in the country. Everyone's got their own little twist on it. You play Texas Tech, you play Baylor, you play Texas to some extent. They're going to try to keep you sidelined. Porter Moser is going to keep you in front. He's going to play heel to 3-point line. They're not going to get splits. They'll switch like size. And then offensively, they play with really, really good spacing. But if Tanner Groves can't play, obviously, that creating that matchup at 5 or mismatch at 5 is a problem.
If you look at the Big 12, and they have been, as I think for 5 or 6, 7 years, based on data, analytics, whatever, the best conference in America, and that's always debatable as well. But are they better now, even better this year than they've been in the past?
Well, I mean, the depth of the league is just ridiculous. I mean, I mean, games aren't games; they're events. Kansas is a Final Four team. Obviously Baylor's a Final Four team. Texas is, got maturity to them, which is on their side. Texas Tech defensively is really just relentless. We saw them live at Madison Square Garden against Tennessee. Tennessee couldn't get anything going. The depth of the league, TCU has gotten better. Oklahoma State is kind of the interesting one because I don't like the way they're playing, yet they have they have all those pieces back. Oklahoma's really, really well coached. I mean, you look up and down the league, and there are no rocking chair games in the league. Iowa State, they got the right transfers. Brockington gives them a hard-playing wing scorer, and Kalsher gives them a physical defender. And, they get the Tyrese Hunter kid who's the McDonald's All-American. They get Condit back, which is good. Caleb Gill, makes shots. They've got, Enaruma, from Kansas has played well at times. So the league's just the games aren't games; they're events. If you don't play well, you're not winning. That's the way it is.
Do you? What was your thought about what happened with the NCAA ruling at Oklahoma State, Mike Boynton's program?
I always think that first of all, you should never take away wins the games are played. That's just me. But a bigger thing is if you find someone that's doing something unethical, and you need to hit the school in the pocketbook. So, instead of obviously penalizing those kids, now those kids chose Oklahoma State knowing that there's a chance they could go probation. But I think that, knowing that, those kids were not part of it, I would say slap a $3 million fine on Oklahoma State. Say, clean up your act. This is kind of going to get everyone's attention, and then play on. I think, once you hit these universities in the pocketbook, then all of a sudden I think they'll take a look in the mirror a little bit deeper and say, all right, who am I hiring? And I'm going to hold these coaches accountable. I'm going to put something in their contracts that are going to hold them accountable. Now it's a moot point because, with NIL, basically cheating is legal. It's, it has nothing to do with, these players are basically being bought. That's just the way it is because the return on the investment on, how was the return on the investment for that quarterback at Clemson that had the Dr. Pepper commercial that they couldn't run because they couldn't throw a touchdown? Or how was the return on the investment of the guy that started as the quarterback at Oklahoma and then got beat out? So, look, it is what it is. It's we're in a environment in college athletics where, everyone says it's pros. I don't totally agree it's pros because we've totally lost track of the academic component and the socialization component and all other things. But I'm happy that these kids are getting something. But let's call it what it is. It's just legalized cheating because none of these businesses are really, in basketball, probably aren't getting a return on their investment. That's just the truth. It's, I can't see it. Now, you show up at a car dealership, you show up at a restaurant, you sign autographs, I think, there's a return. When you start paying halves of millions, guaranteeing guys hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe my head's in the sand, but I don't see it. Everyone can't be an influencer. Like, people say, well, they're influencers. Well, everyone can't be an influencer because if everyone's an influencer, no one's an influencer.
Exactly. That's a great point. That is a great point. Seth, a game coming up later on tonight. Just curious your thoughts on LSU and Kentucky, top 25 matchup tipping off here in a little over an hour.
I think it'll be a really good game. How Kentucky handles the switching defenses, I should say, of LSU, how they handle the pressure of LSU. How they handle Dale Brown night, which, is real. Every time Kentucky plays, it's some night. It's white out, blue out, green out, yellow out, or someone's getting honored. And then Kentucky. So Kentucky's got to take care of the basketball. There's no doubt about it. And they got to be able to, if they take care of the basketball and set your defense, LSU has a hard time scoring. They're not very good in the half court. But they're also, I think, second or third in the country in turnover percentage defense. They're really long. They're really athletic. And then Xavier Pinson, I think he's really important for LSU. If they can get him in foul trouble, I'm not sure they have a leader, LSU, but really an athletic, hard-playing team. Last year, LSU couldn't guard me. This year, they are built more on the defensive end, extremely, extremely athletic, but I just don't know if they can make enough shots. They're not a very good feel of the offensive team.
Seth, last thing, you went from coaching the game for a long time, played the game, and then now you get to discuss the game. It was kind of a dream come true how things have worked out for you on the broadcast career as well?
I've been very fortunate. I don't take for granted one day the opportunity ESPN's given me. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I miss coaching. I miss teaching. I miss competition. But in terms of, it's been 10 years I've been doing this. And I don't take for granted that I've worked with amazing people. All they want you to do is have a good show. They let me kind of live out my dream in terms of I'm still involved in the game of basketball, something I love tremendously. And I'm very fortunate. And, a lot of people think it's a rite of passage, almost like a high school kid thinks it's a rite of passage to go to the NBA. I don't think it's a rite of passage. I think I'm the luckiest guy in the world that ESPN's given me this platform and that I get a chance to, talk ball because, that's something that I love and I hopefully give a perspective without an agenda because we have too many people that have agendas. My agenda is just the game. The game tells a story. And my opinions outside of the game are basically from 33 years of coaching. So I hope people appreciate it. If they don't, I guess maybe they'll whack me in a couple of years around here. But I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I'm doing.
No, there's a reason why you're doing it, and we appreciate it. Truth serum is what I called it. You're not afraid to say what you see or whatever you think, and that's good without being influenced. Thank you very much, Seth. As always, we appreciate you and hope to get you on again.
All right, guys. Thank you. Enjoy the game.
Yes, sir. Seth Greenberg, ESPN college basketball analyst. ESPN broadcast on game day as well. Baylor tonight against Oklahoma just after the time we close out the show at the Farrell Center. $10